Welcome to Spotlight Television. I'm your host, Tom Hegna. I'm really excited about our guest today, Jonathan Mason. I've known Jonathan for several years now. He's a financial guru down in Orlando. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me here. Thank you so much.
Now, you're a busy guy, but tell us how this all started. Tell us a little bit about your career.
I was born and bred to be a financial specialist because out of college, I was actually a breakdancer. So that part was really, we talked about it. Played soccer in school, had a couple knee surgeries, got out of school and didn't know what I wanted to do because the market's changing. We'll talk about that. But got back into entertainment, doing weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate events, Sweet 16. We go downtown tonight. We're gonna have a good time. So I found myself in the entertainment world, and then 2008, 2009 happened with the markets and everything crashing. One thing that I realized, even after going to school and getting a degree, I knew nothing about money, nothing about finance, taxes, nothing. And my parents took a bad hit financially. My uncle lost a lot of money in his 401k. My grandfather lost half his money in portfolio. And I realized, number one, I couldn't help. Number two, I didn't even know what was going on. I couldn't even have a conversation with somebody about what was going on. And I realized I needed to learn this stuff for my life. So I went from breakdancing into financing, and that was the jump. I went to a couple interviews with some big corporate companies. Not a fan of the corporate platform because you're limited, can't do this, can't do that. Plus, I wanted something just part-time to start because I had my income with the entertainment. And met a guy named Patrick Bet-David. You know Patrick, we've talked about Patrick, who's now running the Vault and PBD Podcast, Valuetainment. I fly out to California, I meet Patrick. I'm at a convention for 3 days, and I'm blown away because anybody can get into insurance. We've been in insurance different years, obviously, a little bit before me. And what got me was how Patrick talked to his people, how he trained his people, and the environment that he created. So I can get a license, you get a license, and work for any company, but it was the culture and the environment and the leadership that drew me. I said, let's do it. So I go back to South Florida. They were in California. I got my insurance license. And it was tough for a couple of years. You know, there was nobody in Florida. I was by myself. I'm Skyping in. This was before Zoom, before Instagram, before social media. And just trying to do my best to learn the words. I go to every meeting I could go to, every event, every conference. I go to California every other month and stuck it out. So this is my 15th year in the industry. And it's been amazing. I have a beautiful 10,000 square foot office in Orlando, got a couple of thousand agents around the country, and it's been a blessing.
And it's not just that you're a financial professional yourself, you're also a recruiter. I think you're the top recruiter nationwide for your company.
Well, not the top, but I'm one of. And the firm's doing very, very well. Just got acquired by Integrity Marketing Group, which is one of the largest privately held companies in the country. And we've been blessed to recruit talent and develop them. One of our best things, and one thing I've been blessed with your help as well, is helping people that have no experience in insurance, money, finance, or even business get into the industry. So we're very good at recruiting new blood. A lot of other companies are poaching back and forth, which makes no sense. I was not in the industry, but someone recruited me into the business. You got recruited from the Army, right? So you were not in the business. Someone said, hey, let me bring you into the business and here's the lifestyle. So I got recruited myself, so let me pay it forward and look at recruiting others. Say, take a look at the industry. It's an amazing option. So, when I got in, I learned the skills about entrepreneurship, money, business, sales, etc. And our platform is designed for new people that have no experience. So we could take somebody from no experience, help them get their license, become certified, and make a very, very good living. I've had guys in my organization that are making over $1 million a year. I have guys making multiple six figures, and some are just working part-time, making, 40, 50,000 a year just as a part-time secondary income. So insurance is an amazing platform, and I think it's one of the most undervalued industry that most people don't know about.
Well, there's so many options. If somebody is wants to get in the insurance industry, why would they want to go to you?
So there's several ways to get into the business. One, you have to get a license either way. No matter where you go, you have to pass a background check. So it's a very highly regulated industry, which I love. Number one, and I'm not going to give any names, but you can go work at a bank, and that's fine. Big name, it's established, it's a retail spot, people feel comfortable walking in, it's on every corner. The challenge is there's quotas, and you're limited to what the bank wants to do, but if you leave the bank, who keeps all the clients?
The bank.
The bank keeps it. And you're not doing what's best for the client, you're doing what the bank wants you to push. And sorry, as a fiduciary, that's not what's in the client's best interest. That's in the bank's best interest. So if you're going to treat every client as if they're family that you care about, treat them that way, not just to keep your job. So bank is an option. Two, you can do a franchise setup. Some of the big franchise names, again, I'm trying to not to name them too much, but that costs money. That costs some money to get in. You also have to have a certain location as a drive when you have to drive by it. You're also captive, which means whatever name you're selling is the name brand on the paper. So you're not really shopping around for clients. Again, you're only offering, well, here's what we have. It is, again, not necessarily the best option. It's the only option. And for even franchises, they could take your book of business away. So if you miss numbers as quotas, you can get fired. So it's not really a business. They sell it that way, but it's not. Three, you can do the big corporate, big names. You're familiar with the big names, obviously. You got started with one. But again, with them, I think they have great training programs, but they're also captive. Their sole purpose is to push their brand name. Again, not a problem if it is the best option for the consumer. Well, my brother works there. That's great. Is it still the best option for you? It's my uncle. It doesn't matter. Is it the best option for you? So if it's the best option, great. But a lot of those guys don't shop around because of first right of refusal. They have to typically wait 2 to 5 years to start shopping around other options. And there's quotas and minimums, and if you want to be the top dog there, it takes years to get to. You could become an independent. Now, independents are good because you have multiple carriers to choose. The challenge is there's a lack of training on those platforms. They typically want you to sell a final expense policy, which is not always the best for the client, but it pays very fast, very quickly. But there's a lot of parts of planning, insurances, tax strategy that's never going to be trained on because that platform isn't designed for that. So I got into insurance working with Patrick David and the firm, which is now part of the IMG, because it offers all of it. So one, our platform, I have multiple companies to work with. So I can work with the MetLife, the Fidelity, Allianz, AIG, National Life Group, American National, North American, Lincoln Financial Group, and I go, everyone. There's no quota. There's no minimum. And it makes it so easy to sit down with you is what are your needs? What are your goals? Let's find the best option for you, not my only option. And on top of that, we design a custom plan that is for you, where other companies, well, here's what I have. And it becomes very cookie cutter. So we take more of a consulting approach, more of a specific approach, and everyone's got different needs between when their ages, their kids, are the kids grown up, are they older? I asked a couple the other day, I said, do you have kids? They said, yeah, but they're grown. I said, are they still your kids? They're grown, okay, they're grown kids, but they're still your kids. That means you need different kind of planning, whether it's legacy planning, long-term care strategy, because if you don't take care of yourself now, the kids are. And the worst thing that a parent can do is be a financial burden to a family. A lot of platforms are not teaching the full package. We look at the full picture, not just a screenshot.
You know, the majority of people out there have a 401k. And there's some people who just say how great the 401k is. I think you and I say, okay, there's a place for it, but you know, why do we want to defer our taxes if we know taxes are heading up? You know, it made sense when taxes were coming down. You take it here, you get a deduction, and then you get it grow tax deferred, and then you take it out, the taxes are lower. Well, we know taxes are going to have to be higher. It's a math problem. So tell me about your thoughts on the 401k versus other alternatives out there.
Well, first we have to take care of the myths. What a 401k is, what it is not. Number one, a 401k is not a race, and so it's not a marathon on a holiday, okay? A 401k does not mean you're going to have $400 to $1,000 sitting in a retirement account. So a 401k is a tax code. And if you go to the history of it, so Tom, let me sell you on this. Let me sell you on this program. Back in the day, there were these things called, I don't know, pensions, right? The real name was defined benefit plans. That's where the saying goes, get the job, get the benefits. Very expensive to run though. Not very cost effective. And with the baby boomers retiring, there's too many people retiring, which means there's too much money going out, not enough money coming in, which is the same issue with Social Security. So these companies in the 70s, when taxes were at a high, they said, we have to come up with this whole strategy of, we got to pay less, Tom. We got to pay less tax. No, we're making too much money. I got an idea. We're going to do something for us, and we're going to sell it to the public. Watch this. We're going to call it a defined contribution plan. Ooh, that sounds good. That word just sexy, contribution plan. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to offer these accounts to our employees, and we're going to put their money into stocks and mutual funds. Charge them all these fees they have no idea about. We don't even know who's watching the account. We're just going to call these, contribution plans. We're going to put some of our money into their account for them to contribute. We write it off our books. So we pay less in tax. They just defer it. So we pay less. They take all the risk. There's no more guaranteed income, no more predictability. They take all the risk and the fees, and we just shifted the risk from us to them. That's called your 401k plan. So a 401k is actually a salary reduction plan for highly paid executives, not even a pension replacement. So it's my retirement. Does your 401k protect you from losses? No. Does it give you long-term care? No. Does it guarantee an income? No. How's that retirement? And have you ever asked why is it the only thing they push? So it's not in the employee's best interest, it's in the employer's best interest. That's why most people that are wealthy or affluent have one-on-one private consultants where they can design things for you that meet your specific needs, not the cookie cutter stuff. And that's one thing that we specialize in is specific needs. So go into alternatives. The number one cause of bankruptcy right now is healthcare issues, mainly long-term care. And I think the last number, Tom, please correct me if I'm wrong, there's a 72% chance of you having some kind of long-term care need. Is that correct? Is that accurate? And the ages are different. So once you are 0 to 64, I think it's 40% chance. And then once you're at 65, 72% chance. And 64% of bankruptcies are from long-term care. And the biggest misconception is health insurance is covering long-term care. It does not. You're going to be coming out of pocket dollar for dollar versus leveraging it. So if I have my 401k, how do I make sure that my long-term care is covered? When I talk to clients about planning, going back to answer your question, there's 4 quadrants I think people should have money in. Cash, stock, real estate, and insurances. Cash is liquid, it's safe, it's awesome. Stock is all of equities, including even cryptocurrencies we'll talk about. Real estate is real estate. But the only sector of money and finance that's never lost in a depression, recession, or pandemic is the insurance sector, and the insurance's job is to protect the entire portfolio. So you talk about other alternatives. Well, what is the purpose of saving for retirement? It's to make money and never lose it. It's to lower or control my taxes and then cover my long-term care, because the biggest fear I think today, for boomers specifically, are people are afraid of outliving their money and not having enough. So we need solutions that can make sure they never outlive the money, don't lose money, pay less in taxes, and cover health care. And the scariest thing, I'm a little biased, but the best product to actually do that are insurance products. But people don't talk about it a lot. So I do think that life insurance, properly structured, not all life insurance, properly structured life insurance, as well as properly structured annuities, can solve a lot of their problems, and it's a great alternative to 401k options.
You know, and Ernst & Young, a major accounting firm, just verified all that in a white paper. They don't sell life insurance, they don't sell annuities, but they said the optimal retirement portfolio has 30% cash value life insurance, 30% income annuities, 40% investments. And then BlackRock doesn't sell any annuities, and they say if you add an annuity to the portfolio does better and it reduces downside risk. So we're getting a lot of disinterested third-party references that confirm exactly what you said. Now, we've had a conversation before where you talk about the difference between being smart and being wise. I thought you'd maybe share that with the audience.
So smart and wise. Well, most people think they're smart, but really that's their ego kicking in, because the ego is going to prevent you from moving forward in life. I know this. Oh, I know that already. Oh, I know this already. Oh, my brother set up the account. It's that smart, but what? Okay. Wisdom is seeking guidance and counsel. It's even in the Bible. I want counsel. I reach out to you all the time for random questions. Hey, Tom, and you respond back. It's not even a long conversation, just a quick question, because I want counsel. Even just now, I was asking, are my numbers accurate? Please correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let's talk about it, because I want to understand. Wisdom is leveraging, seeking counsel. Smart is ego, preventing you from moving forward. For example, what kind of phone do you have?
iPhone.
Okay. How many cameras are on the back?
I think 3.
Okay, 3. Obviously, there's a little more 4, right? But the big ones are 3. Are there iPhones that have 1 camera or 2 cameras on the back?
Probably the older ones.
The older ones, right? So there are people that are walking around that have iPhones with 1 or 2 cameras. If I ask them what kind of phone do they have, they're going to say, well, I have an iPhone. They're not wrong, but they just have an outdated iPhone because they're not aware of the newer options. It's the same thing in the financial world. People have a lot of outdated financial products or outdated plans they haven't looked at in years, and they blindly are trusting the person that set it up for them without reviews, or they're blindly trusting the corporation without understanding what's going on. If I ask them, what kind of retirement do you have? They'll give me their 401k, IRA, whatever it is. Good, what are the fees? I don't know. Well, who's watching it? I don't know, just this company. So you have no idea who's watching this. You don't know what the numbers are. You have no idea what the predictions are going to be. But if I asked you what kind of phone you have, you know more about your phone than your retirement. Interesting.
Yeah, that's incredible. So what is the difference between want and will?
Want and will. I think this has to do with a lot of people that fall short of their potential in life, where we just celebrated our New Year's. I had one of the best New Year's ever. Literally, I had one of the best New Year's ever of my life, if not the best New Year's. And every New Year's Eve, what do people always declare? I want to lose more weight, make more money. What typically happens is they lose more money, make more weight. That's how it works. Why? Because they haven't changed. They haven't dropped the bad habits. What they're doing is they're a little jacked up on Mountain Dew. They're a little excited. They're going to say, I want to lose weight. Okay. Well, there's PHP is the game plan. What do you mean PHP? So wanting and will. Let's talk about that. Want is want power. That's not strong. Willpower. You ever heard willpower? Never heard want power. Wanting is very weak. I want this. I want that. But you're not willing to put the work in. Most people are not willing because in between want and will, there's got to be a PHP. Well, what do you mean in between? PHP stands for pain, helping, plan. Pain, helping, plan. You want, you will. Okay. P, what's your pain? What's the biggest challenge? Do you want to lose more weight? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to start a business? What's your pain? When it hurts enough, you'll make a change. H is helping. Well, who's helping you? Who's in your corner? Who's guiding you? What's their track record? We just talked about wise versus smart. Who's actually coming to you from credibility? We do a lot of recruiting. And a lot of people have never come from insurance, money, sales, finance, whatever. If they go home and they ask someone that does not make a lot of money, never been in insurance, or never ran a business, what advice are they going to give them? It's not sound advice. Exactly. It's not sound advice. You've been in the military. I can ask you, Tom, based on your personal experience, what was your experience in the military? But I'm not even just going to take your word. I'm going to take other people's word. So P is what's my pain. H is who's helping me, but they better have some credibility. I'd rather go talk to a stranger driving a Lamborghini and ask them what they do for a living and learn about money from them versus my best friend who's broke. But we've been friends for 20 years. Your friend's broke though. He has got no credibility. Have a beer later, but there's no credibility. And then P is where people fall short. What's your plan? What's your game plan? Do you have a specific strategy? Because with a specific strategy and willpower, you're good to go. I know people that said, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Okay, show me your diet. Who are you working out with? What gym are you going to? What's your schedule? I believe you because there's a plan. I want to make more money this year. What's your plan? Here's what I'm doing. I'm getting licensed. I believe you. Versus, I want to lose more weight. What gym do you go to? I haven't joined the gym yet. I don't believe you. I want to make more money. Good. What are you doing on the side? No, just same job. I don't believe you. So wanting is literally just wanting because it sounded good. Will is I actually have a specific plan. It hurts so much, I'm doing something about it.
You know, why do people not save money? Why don't they have a financial game plan? I mean, you're stronger when you're financially strong. Why don't people focus on that?
So, and we've talked about this before plenty of times. The part is, Tom, when you grow up, okay, in a household that is the Brokenese language, you ever see kids, parents take the kids out and they say, put that back. We can't afford that. What happens to the kids' mindset is, okay, I'm poor. And they stay in that mentality. And now you have trauma as a kid, which shows up in your adult life. So now you have limiting beliefs. So now it's the fact that, you know what, I'm never going to be rich. I don't need to be rich. Someone says, I don't need to make a lot of money. How do you know? Have you ever made a lot of money? Of course, what are you talking about? That's a limiting belief because remember, want versus will. They're not willing to go through the process. It's going to be hard being broke and it's going to be hard making a lot of money. Choose your hard. So if we have I'd rather choose this side because it gives me choices. Money gives you one thing, it gives you choices. No one said buy the Lambo. You don't have to. But you have the choice if you wanted to. For me, I wanted to make sure my parents were set. You know, mom and dad went through some tough times. I was able to help them out with a large amount of debt a couple of years ago, paid off the debt. Recently, you know, my dad was in a car accident. Someone ran a stop sign and it totaled the car. Car spun out and so. And I said, Dad, you're not buying a car. I'm getting you a car. And I walked into a Mercedes and I said, which are the safest cars? He said, okay, these are the top two cars. One is a Maybach. I said, my dad's not driving a Maybach. All right, let's call it. It's a big truck. I'm like, come on, did you see my dad? And the second one was the GLE AMG 63S. It's a V8 turbo. It's amazing. I said, is this the safest car on the lot? They said, yes, I'll take it. I didn't even know how much it was. I just wanted the safety for my father. So when someone says, I want to retire my parents, do you really want to, or is it a will? I will retire my parents, or I want to retire my parents. It goes back to that. But most people have a limiting belief mindset. I think their associations also matter, where if you're not hanging around people that are doing better than you, run businesses, have the lifestyle that you want, because when you buy advice, you buy the life. And the old saying goes, you're going to become a development of the 5 people that you hang around. And if these guys are making 100 grand a year, you'll be the next one. These guys make $1 million a year, you're the next one. So choose your friends wisely, choose your enemies wisely. I also think that most people have a people-pleasing mentality. They're afraid of going against the grain because they're afraid of what their friends and family are going to say. Because in the beginning, when you start something new, it's you're crazy, you're nuts, what are you doing? And you made fun of a lot. And most people quit there. The second phase, you actually stick at it, you start doing it, and then that's when people get really ridiculed and people start talking about you behind your back. They stop inviting you to parties. It happened to me in the business. And then when you make it, it becomes self-evident, and they say, you know what, Tom, I always knew you were that guy. You were always that go-getter. You were that go-getter. And if you can push through that, and the way you push through that, again, goes back to your environment, who you're hanging around, the books you're reading, the meetings you're attending, and your associations, those three matter. I think it's our money blueprint growing up, that if you're growing up in a wealthy family and they make you read books and they make you earn everything, you'll understand that it is doable. If you grow up in a not so wealthy household, because I was a middle American kid, my dad's a school teacher, we did not have a lot of money. I just knew that I wanted that life. I knew it was possible. But I think most people, Tom, today, my generation, I'm a millennial. I think a lot of millennials are somewhat entitled. They think that our degree means something. Because think about this for a second. Play along. And you might know the difference because we talked about it. Play along. In our country today, we're taught to go to a good school to get our
degree,
so we can go get a good
job,
and work until we
die.
Okay, you said die.
Retire.
It's supposed to be retire, right? But we all think die. People that are watching, oh, die. Wait, sell me the dream. Work till you die. Who the hell wants to work till you die? What a kind of no. I want to work so that I can live, not live so I can work. I want to enjoy my life. Like I just asked you about your trips, you're traveling, playing golf. Like you're selling me the dream. That's like, and you're doing this because you want to, not because you have to. You have choices in life and you love this. And thank God you're doing this, by the way, because you're impacting guys like me that are still in the game that are building. And I just think that if we understood what it really takes to become successful, because there's two tables. There's typical middle America and there's the affluent. What did they tell us, middle America, that we should not be talking about at the dinner table? Don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, and don't talk about money. What do the wealthiest families in America talk about? Politics, religion, and money. So it's okay that they talk about it, but not us? Sorry. I want to be at that table. So the important conversations that have to be had at the dinner table are not being spoken about. And I think if we can start bringing that back into America's household, talking about how to keep marriages together. My parents have been married 53 years this year, 53 years. You don't hear about that too often. You know, we talk about keeping couples together. We talk about processing issues, conflict resolution, starting a business from scratch. I think the other part is most people have this IG issue, which is instant gratification. It doesn't exist. I see a lot of people in our industry, in insurance, that are more worried about getting a fast paycheck than doing what's right for the client. And you've seen this yourself, and it's one of our pet peeves. It's like, why are you giving this 45-year-old a final expense policy when they should be getting a different plan? Oh, well, it pays fast. I get it, but it's not in their best interest. So, again, I think limiting beliefs based on their upbringing, their current associations, and their willingness to make some changes.
So a couple things. You know, in my latest book, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I talk about 90% of Americans believe they'll never become wealthy. And I said, they're right. And the other 10% know they're going to become wealthy. And you know what? They're right. Because you've got to believe something to achieve it. And so what I did as a brand new agent, there's only one product I could illustrate, and that was life insurance. I couldn't illustrate stocks, bonds, mutual funds. There weren't even ETFs back then. And so I would solve for $1 million of cash value at that person's age 65. And the way I said is, you know, when they said, what do you do for a living? I didn't say I'm a financial advisor, I'm an agent. I said, I help people become millionaires. You tell me how many million you want, I'm going to show you what you need to do to get there. But once I could show them that it's possible, and then I'd take them to a time value money calculator and show them that if they could get 6% or 9% or 12%, they could do it on as little as $100 a month. Well, when they see on paper that they could be a millionaire, then they believe it. And once they believe it, then they can achieve it. The other thing, when you're talking about, mentors and everything, neither one of us got here by ourselves. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the Kinder brothers. I learned a lot from them, Jack and Gary Kinder. I learned a lot from Joe Jordan. I learned a lot from top MDRT producers. I didn't do it by myself. You didn't do it by yourself. And I think too many people don't spend enough time learning the business. It takes 10,000 hours to become a master at anything. And you and I have both spent 10,000 hours doing this. So look, you work with a lot of successful people. You've seen people who haven't been successful. Is there like a secret ingredient for success?
Sure. I'll give you four. I said three earlier. The first one is the meetings you attend. Because you have to be, that's the mastermind alliance. You have to be around the right people. This is a meeting. And we had a conversation over coffee before, like this is a meeting. And I think a lot of people don't value being in groups that can challenge them, which is again, wisdom versus smart. Let your ego drop for a second and take some guidance. And be humble about it, because a truly humble person can never be embarrassed. So if you're embarrassed by asking a question, then you got some work to do. So I think number one is the meetings you attend. Two are the books you're reading. If you're not reading, you're not developing, even if it's audiobook. I think personal development is a major, major impact that is needed in today's society. Even in our company, all of our agents are required to read. We have a book of the month club because we want you to become the next best version of you. And one thing about studying, what I suggest to all my guys is take a topic for 90 days and just read that. So if you want to get better at sales, just read sales. You want to get better at relationships, just read that. You want to get better at overcoming objections, just read that. You want to get better at how to fly a plane, like you want to drive a car better. Whatever it is, read whatever topic that interests you, study that for 90 days and move on to the next one and next one. So the meetings you attend, the books you read, and then it's your associations. Oh boy, does that matter. Because if you have that person in your ear, if they don't have what you want, why do you listen to them? It doesn't matter if we were friends in high school. If you no longer are adding value to my life, I love you as a person, but you're not adding value, we can't talk as much. We can't do this anymore. You can't be afraid to let people go if they're not adding to your life. And then the last one is a phrase called go again. You go again. Another way of saying you don't quit. I'm in downtown Orlando. I'm at this cigar lounge called Coronas. And there's a guy next to me. And he used to run one of the biggest gangs in Jacksonville back in the day. Got out, changed his life around, completely changed his life around. He's a multimillionaire now, does different stuff, a lot of stuff in real estate investments. And I said, let me ask you a question. Because this was maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I was down the dumps. I was going through a tough time in my life. And I said, bro, what advice would you give a guy like me? I see what's going on. You recreated yourself. What got you through all this stuff? He says, bro, you go again. What do you mean go again? He says, you go again. He starts telling me about how you grew up in the streets. He says, what other choice do you have? You go again. You mess up, you go again. It doesn't work out, you go again. This happens, you go again. Go. And I said, dang, 2 words can change your life completely. You go again. If it doesn't work out, Tom, go again. We mess up, go again. You lose a client, go again. Recruit quits, go again. You just don't stop. And I think that's the part, that's the resiliency, the tenacity, the persistency that some people are missing. If you have that go again mentality, game over.
Jonathan, I can tell by what you've been talking about that ethics really plays a strong role, that you want to always do the best thing for your clients. Why are ethics so important? I talked about it in another session as well, but why is it so important?
Ethics is important across the board no matter what you do in life. When you tell the truth, there's nothing to remember. I got into this business because my own family got taken advantage of. And I'm not going to name company names, but it's a very, very big company. But I'm not going to let one advisor slander an entire corporation, because that's probably the advisor's fault, okay, if being fair. I find out that my grandfather was losing money. I found that my uncle was losing money. I found that my family was losing money, and it should have been looked after. And the challenge is, and with all transparency, we make a lot of money in our industry. If you Googled right now, what industry has created the most millionaires, financial services comes up. We're number one over everything. We do make a lot of money, but there's some things that we don't need to always get overcompensated for. we should be compensated for the work that we're doing, number one. Number two, there's people specifically in the insurance sector that are the one-trick ponies, that are pushing one thing, one company, one brand down people's throats because it pays fast. Old school insurance is proper planning. How much coverage do you need? Every $1 million every 50,000 of income should be $1 million of term because of interest rates and long-term care coverage. You have to plan properly. A lot of these guys are doing $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 of final expense. What the hell is that doing for a family? You're not changing a legacy. You're not creating a trust for the family. You're not doing nothing. What you did do was just make a fast paycheck. And I think the challenges with the advancements in technology in the industry and financial services in general is that people are losing sight of treating every client as if they're family versus what pays my bills today. So there's this commission breath, there's this desperation, I gotta make money now, or this form of recognition, they're recognition driven. My own family got taken advantage of, and I swore that'd never happen again. If I'm gonna be a fiduciary acting in people's best interest, I better sit down with them, find out what their needs are and their goals are, and I better have a platform to give them the best options, and I better have access to it. And if I don't have access, I better refer it out properly. Most people are not doing that. They try to take everybody and squeeze them into the one little thing, and they say, we're the best. Show me the best logically. There's a company that only sells term. Their term is very, very expensive. You shop around other terms, they're gonna be beaten. There's final expense companies. Final expense serves a purpose, but it shouldn't be for everybody. You know, even IULs are a great option, not for everybody. Whole life, great option, not for everybody. Annuities, great option, not for everybody. It depends on where you are in your life, what do you have, what's going on. So I think the challenge is because we do make a lot of money, people get blinded very quickly rather than saying, what is in your best interest?
Now, we talked a little earlier about cryptocurrency, and you know, people thought I got hacked like 3 years ago because I was the biggest crypto non-believer in the world because I said just a greater fool theory. There's nothing there. And then I watched this guy on CNBC who said, you know, we're just recommending to our wealthy clients that they put 1% of their portfolio into crypto, and he laid out this whole series of things that made total sense to me. And I said, okay, well, 1% makes sense to me because if I lose it all, it won't hurt me. And if it does go to $1 million Bitcoin, I'll be happy I did it. Well, I did it back when when Bitcoin was like $2,000 a Bitcoin. And I'm very glad that I put 1% of my portfolio. It's grown to be far more than 1% of my portfolio. But I'm not one of those guys who's going to put all my money in crypto. And I watch too many people do that. Where do you come down in this whole crypto? Because it's kind of a new area.
Cash, stock, real estate, insurance. It's a balanced portfolio. I have quite a bit of life insurance myself. I put a lot of money into it every year because the tax strategy, it's all tax-free cash when I withdraw it properly. And there's guarantees, there's long-term care, it's built in. So a lot of life insurance, even my portfolio is there. Real estate, structured properly, again, what type of real estate. Some people want to fix and flip. Some people want to, you know, buy and rent out. Depends what you want. Cash is cash, always good to buy stuff. But the stock portfolio has crypto in it now. Now, for me, there's different ways of doing crypto. I actually am a very, very big fan of it. Most people are not because they don't understand it. Whenever someone says, oh, it's a scam, no, that means you're still confused about money. That's what scam is to me, okay? Take a second to understand how it works because the challenge is this. Here's where people got a little, you know, skeptical. The average portfolio for a stock, let's just call it 7 to 9%. I'll even give you 10%. Tom, I'll give you 12%. I will happily give you 12%. Here's the problem. That's an IRA, a brokerage account. Cryptocurrency, how much you make yesterday? I made 1,500%. Like, it's insane numbers. So people are used to these big spikes because it's that addiction. When it comes to chemicals in the body, we're addicted to a release, whether it's you know, dopamine or all these other chemicals we have to deal with. People like that rush. They like that rush of up and down. The challenge is there are ways of making a lot of money in the cryptocurrency space without taking the major risk. And we don't have to get into that show today, but there's a lot of people that are making a lot of money doing it. But if you're looking for that get rich quick, then stay the hell out of it. Because crypto is not designed for get rich quick. Just like insurance is not get rich quick. They're both going to be get rich eventually. So I think having a crypto portfolio is a good idea. There's certain people that you have to talk to about it. I think having insurance is a major part of your retirement, long-term care included, life insurance included, and not just term, because 98% of term never pays out. So if you have kids and you want to pass money on to the kids and you only have term, whether it's your job or private, and there's a 98% chance it's going to lapse and never pay out, maybe not the only option. You want to have some permanent coverage, different types of permanent to make sure it passes on to the family, but also annuities. I think having that stuff as well, you want to add real estate to it. Again, depends what you want to do. Just be careful with real estate as well because of the risks. You don't want to become a property manager when you're 78 years old, but I do think a balanced portfolio, having crypto is a very good idea.
And the fact that you have some guarantees in that insurance bucket allows you to take a little more risk if you want to. And, you know, for people who think it's a scam, it's been the #1 performing asset class for 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years. So, I mean, it's not Beanie Babies or pet rocks we're talking about here. I think there might be a place for it. So, look, we've covered a lot of information. I think there's some people out there who say, I like that Jonathan guy. How do I get a hold of him? How can somebody get a hold of you, either as somebody who wants to get in the business or a client that needs some help? How can they get a hold of you?
I know they're going to post it here, but obviously, #1, you go to my Instagram. I do a lot of Instagram stuff. It's at JON Mason Money, JONMASON Money. You go to my website, johnmasonmoney.com. You can go to my LinkedIn. You can go to my Facebook, Jonathan Mason. I'm very well, easy to find. My YouTube is John Mason Money again. Very easy to find. And again, I'm doing more and more stuff this year. I'll be speaking in a few more spots, so I'm looking forward to it.
So, Jonathan, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tom. Appreciate it.
And thanks to all of you for watching another edition of Spotlight Television.